I remain Joshua Ayesi. We are members of Writers Republic Association, and with me here today are the escorts of this noble association.
Here I am by name. By name, DK James.
Okay, Writers Republic in a time like this, reading and writing cultures are fast dying away. That is what brings about the birth of this association. And of course, we'll have each month reading and meeting. Today, we have with us this book titled The Lion and the Jewel. We've come to give it's just an interactive session, interactive review and discussion on this book, written by Professor Wole Soyinka and published in the year 1963. Let's quickly go through this work. This work, let's look at the author's choice of words. That is the diction of this work. If you've read any other book written by Professor Soyinka, you should have known that is the type that makes use of advanced vocabularies. And that is, we have few of them in this work that an average reader may have to find it difficult to understand without consulting with a dictionary, of course. Let's quickly look at the narrative techniques involved. We saw the use of flashback as a narrative technique used here. We also saw the use of mime. Of course, a mime is a theoretical technique. It's a technique a narrator can adopt. One good thing about this technique is that it has to do with gesture and expression, movement of body without vocal expression. So, and we have seen that, and we've seen many other things derived in this book. We've seen the major characters, Lakunle, we saw Sidi, we saw Baroka, and we have seen Sadiku. A story that revolves around the coming of modernism, the penetration of liberal world and practice and modernism in the African culture. It is just exposition. The author of this work has done an exposition to tell us the danger, to expose to us, every person, the danger of liberalism, modernism, and Western culture. Of course, I suppose while he was doing this, he must have had in mind that we should guide our cultural inheritance, we should guide our tradition. If not, the rate at which Westernization is penetrating into our African culture and tradition will soon, of course, that is what is happening today. We have seen theme of love. When you see Sidi and Lakude and even Baroka, yes, we also see theme of deception. We have seen authors' uses of imagery of Lagos, Badegry, that is representing urban cities, civilization, and Western world. And we've seen another image embedded in the city. It's just a mythology of typical African lady and woman who was able to preserve her virginity and all that. It was also a theme of demystification of tradition, culture, dignity, and inheritance. And the theme of decolonization, you've seen how Sidi insulted Nakule while he tries to woo her to himself. And we saw how Nakule ridiculed her, uses abusive words. Just to tell her that she was yet timid, and for him, anyone who can speak good English, grammar, and all that is where to go. Why any African man or woman who couldn't speak English, of course, during that time, has nothing to offer to the society. We can also see a theme of rivalry between liberalism versus cultural dignity. So I will just stop it here, and let me just invite in my colleagues to speak on this. Let's talk about the theme of demystification of tradition, culture, dignity, and inheritance. I think with this, we'll talk about the plot of the novel. So, maybe Mr. Edward.
Wow.
A wonderful trustee.
Yeah, actually, in talking about theme of mystification, tradition, and cultural heritage, you know, Professor Wole Soyinka in his book, The Lion and the Jewel, tries to demonstrate this scenario that showcases the African culture, African background, and Western civilization. And you know, what he's trying to portray is this: that there is a danger in trying to submerge one culture upon the other, because every culture has values that guides whatever person or whatever beliefs or whatever practices that they are holding. They have values that drives them to keep those attitudes. Now, in trying to define those cultures with maybe a culture or tradition that don't see things within the same perspective by which other culture considers reality, they will be just as Lakunle approached Sidi. As you can see, whenever Lakunle and Sidi don't have equal ground, they don't have they don't always have a meeting point. Lakunle do come from different perspectives always, while Sidi always come from different perspectives, and it was difficult for them to do what? Have equal understanding.
Okay, let me just come in here for the sake of clarification. When we talk about demystification, to demystify something, what do you think?
Demystification, they focus on doing what? Breaking down the already existing culture, putting it off.
Okay, let's say that like we have this beautiful trustee that is sitting here with us. She is mystified in her beauty. Just like you see this the ornaments. It's some of the things that keeps her mystery. She is mystified.
I think demystification has to do with stripping off. You strip off, and like you said, it's a woman. In as much as his exposition, he has done an exposition. Just be careful. If you don't hide and guard your tradition and culture,
Taken away from you,
is going to be gradually destroyed. And that is what is happening to you. We have seen many characters in this novel protecting this, representing our different culture, different. What do you have to say about Africans demystifying themselves? Because we have seen an epitome of typical African woman in the person of Sidi. She was able to protect her virginity and dignity, even though she was deceived. She has gone to Baroka's house to visit with, to ridicule him. And Baroka was not able to pay her dowry. And he demystified her. That is that dignity, that virginity
that she has been trying to protect.
Of course.
You know, talking about inheritance. Inheritance deals with what you take from those who passed on or those who were there before you. When displaying the character of Sidi inherited the virtue of virginity. That is what it's a prize of. It is a noble prize which a woman has to do what offer to the husband.
It's what's preserved.
It's what
just what
pride of
a
the
woman.
And the only thing what purchasing that virginity is the bride price. And that's why Sidi at the beginning of the novel, tries to do what? Uphold this.
There are some images. There are some images used here, like in page 37, where he said he was talking about that was Nakule speaking to Sidi. He was talking about an era where city ways will be adopted, where Sosapan will replace clay pots and unhygienic plates, where no man shall take more wiser. Does that mean that the abolition of all these things make a country better than the other?
Excuse me, maybe before you continue, I want to talk about the inheritance.
Okay.
them in the side of Baroka. Because we just talked about Sisi and Lagunde. But think about Baroka too. That also wants to maintain what he has kind of inherited from the past or the forefathers. That is the culture. That is first, not allowing civilization to just come. You know, when he was talking about construction of the roads, because he knows quite well that immediately civilization comes, and every other bad things will follow, and thereby bringing modernization.
Don't you think
that?
Maybe yes, bringing in modernization,
but which will affect the community not to retain or not to give up again the inherited culture.
What if now road in the used in the novel is not just physical roads? It's something that goes beyond construction of roads, paving way for modernization.
Yeah, that is the road. That is the road. Yes. Yes, it's still opening ways for modernization to come in. Which means he believes, Baroka believes that immediately one allows that road or that is the civilization coming into the community. In fact, the community is going to lose a lot. In fact, because in the case of like we're talking about girls, showcasing their girls, their babes or whatever else, Baroka is not seeing it in that aspect. He wants to maintain what he has inherited from his forefathers.
Alright.
I think he actually did, because he has many wives, and he's ready to have more. Where CD was the victim.
Okay, I think this is leading us to theme of love. What have you to say? Since you started talking, you have to tell us, theme of love.
Okay. All right. Theme of love. Actually, whether modernization, whether in a
of course, you should revolve around CD, Lagunde, and Baroka.
Exactly. Okay. That's what I want to say. That's what I want to talk about. Okay. Because seeing Lagunde is representing modernization, civilization. He knows what is love. Baroka, in his own aspect, he also coming from yes, also from a traditional aspect. And he's also talking about love, though in a different aspect or understanding. Baroka sees it that when you love someone, you understand, you should do away with culture, you should do away with tradition. He showcased that when he asked Sidi to kiss him, and Sidi was like, "No, this is uncalled for. It's not. Yes, she's not comforted by that. The second is actually showing her love. That is what he gained, as he said, educated person. But is that the actual thing that's supposed to be? But however, he showed her love.
Are you sure that he showed her love?
You are the one that wants to call it whether original or not original, but that is love.
Because
look at it here. Excuse me. He said here, of course, I do not. He
we
said,
have seen
because
those.
I love. I seek a life companion. He's just talking about, and the man shall take the woman, and the two shall become one.
We have seen those.
He wants for them to come together and become one. And if they become one, and the two cannot become one without love. So actually, he wants that love to continue between two of them.
Okay,
then in the side of Baroka also, Baroka loves her, but no, because he's an old man. Imagine a 60-year-old man looking at this little girl, but he doesn't know how to bring it open. But he used deception to get this girl.
Okay.
But tricky way. Okay. But still love.
Okay.
So there is actually love in this play.
There is love. We are not denying. I'm not denying that there is no existence of love. Of course, there is. We can discuss theme of love, and that is what we are doing.
Yes.
What I'm talking about is the genuineness of love and what love should be. Have you seen the scenario that played out between these two persons? Not even the let's just keep Baroka Yakula and the city. Okay, someone who loves you.
Exactly.
He is an African. I don't know how he was able to embrace his own Western and modernization that made him to. He now steps and thinks that paying a maiden's bride price before taking her in is now an old way. I I think that if you love someone, you go to any length in order to do what please her.
Actually, myself,
But
the perspective in which I view Wole's character or attitude is, will I say, is full of deception.
Deception.
Because, you know, love is demonstrable.
Yes.
You have to demonstrate
Of
love,
course.
not all about verbal expression.
All right.
Now, CD said, this is what is required for you to gain love.
Okay.
And you are pouring words that you love her, you can do this, you can do that. Whereas the basic thing that is required of you, you were unable to do what? Consider it. Because from what we read, he never even considered it at all. Even when the city tries to raise it, he will shut city up.
Okay.
And city will just try to remind him that he said that he will do anything. Are you getting it? That is it? She was just repeating his word. Are you getting it? So, in this perspective, I would say that the approach, Lakunle's approach, it wasn't demonstrating genuine.
Okay, now what do you have to say? Excuse me. Let's assume he paid the bride price. What I want to ask is this: in the side of CD, is it not love also that makes her to say, "I will marry you today, I will marry you tomorrow, but pay my bride price"?
We are saying the same thing. We
So
are saying
if he had paid their bride price,
she would have married him.
yeah, which means there should be love there too.
Yeah, can't you see that sincerity in the city? But there is a deception in Lakunle.
No, he
Let me
just
not
want to
just
show
forget
that
the.
he's,
Let's not just forget.
civilized.
There's one thing we are forgetting. How this novel was divided is divided into 3 parts:
Yes,
morning, afternoon,
after
and
night.
We have seen the danger of civilization, but I don't think it's bad. It's totally bad.
It's not totally
So
bad.
what's your
Just
critique?
like what I said earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, that you don't just judge one culture,
Okay.
using other cultures' perspective. CD's approach wasn't all that bad.
Okay.
Although that doesn't mean that she shouldn't be open to, let's say, new developments.
Alright.
I get it. But the case here is that she was trying to return African culture that she inherited. Okay. And at the end, she was deceived by the same person
That opposed the culture.
opposed the same culture, which means that the danger is not only based on modernization or civilization. The danger is anchored on doing what? Holding your value to the core. Are you getting it? Even if you are upholding civilization, civilization should refine what you already have.
What is even civilization?
This is now.
For example,
What do you mean by
refining civilization, you know, as they demonstrated that instead of eating with your fingers, you eat with fork and knife.
Is it not ridiculous?
It
Must
is.
we eat the way they eat?
Excuse me, it is not a kind of
No, there's.
You want to reform.
I
You want to
want-
improve on what you have already.
Excuse me,
Yes.
let's
How must you
excuse me.
improve on what you have already?
You
Yeah,
have to
because
improve.
you may see that they are not all that
let's
good.
assume we are
Because
eating with
eating with hands, there are a lot of deaths there. And maybe you didn't wash your hand very well.
But we don't eat without washing our hands.
even
How
if
do you
do,
wash it?
how
How
do
do
you
you wash
manage
it? Because
taking-
no
Even
matter
with
how,
the use of cutleries to eat,
you wash
there
that
are
one very well.
bacteria. Even after wash, if you can wash these fingers and hands, and then after that you think there are bacteria that can infect us. Even after washing those cutleries, you cannot tell me that you won't get any bacteria there.
Then
And why do you think that
I think
those eating with their bare hands? I mean, we that wash our hands and eat with our hands are maybe lower
And not
humans.
better off.
Lower humans and those eating with cutlery plate and because I saw where he was saying that an era where kings, leaders will be riding on driving vehicles and no longer horses.
See,
Just ridiculous.
It is.
Although I'm not saying that we shouldn't improve
I
on
did
what we
not
have,
see it
but
as
let us not throw.
Are you getting it? I don't see it as ridicule. The reason being that civilization gets to make life easy.
Is it Western civilization?
It could be any
When
form
you
of-
say it's
be
not
it
Western
Eastern or
civilization,
Western civilization is civilization.
which means education should not even come all of us embrace education. And hence, we have embraced that. Then, civilization was coming. The issue is that let it not be the one that is leading us negatively.
Oh, this is the
But in the case of this man, I'm even seeing that three of them are not truthful. These major three characters. One, Baroka wants to maintain what he inherited. You look at the way he ended up with city.
But he's an African man who was seeing the practice of polygamy.
No, that is not the angle I'm looking at.
Okay.
He refused to pay a black price.
No.
Before, based on this delay, he did not pay his black price. Baroka.
But who went to Baroka's house?
That is not the issue.
Freely, gently, she went to that place and messed herself up.
She did not mess herself up.
What happened?
He told that Baroka
Was he?
yes, he was a funny man.
Who took her there?
Well, based on what she
I don't know whether you are speaking as a woman protecting the image of
Of course,
women.
I just have to bet still. Through Sadiku, that was what Sadiku said to her about the man, Baroka.
Okay.
You understand? That Baroka is no more a man. He's no more functioning. So my dear lady thought Sidi just want to go and also ridicule him. Yes, of course.
And
Let's
she
chill.
was just an irony of
Because
fate.
he's a king.
Irony of fate.
Look at it this way. Because he's a king, he wants to maintain his culture that you cannot take any woman without paying the person's bride price.
Since the birth of
He
Western.
ended up, defining that girl.
Okay, wait.
Yes,
He
for
married
that
her.
matter. He did.
He
He
ma-
paid her bride
But
price.
she was the one that packed her
That is not the issue.
She didn't. She should have stayed
means
in her house. She
Deception,
packed her
deception in his own case, even her the city and even the Lakune.
Now, the case.
She
Three of
freely
them.
gave in. She freely gave in her
And
body,
he freely
and
accepted.
she freely packed her
And
property.
he is a man that wants to maintain his culture and the tradition, also freely
I think you
carried or
are
collected.
are now actually showcasing the real challenge.
Yes.
What is presenting before us.
Okay.
You know, it is of utmost importance
Okay.
that we know the fundamental value that drives our life
Okay.
and drives our actions. You know, it becomes the CD for God, the basic factor that justifies one into getting in a matrimonial state.
Okay.
I get it.
No, are you sure?
Yes.
No, but she was after the
The
bride.
bride price. Yes, she ended up packaging herself.
She
to
wanted
Baroka's
to.
hand.
She
Ridicule
was
the
told
man.
that the man was now impotent by the first one, Sadiq. She traveled to Baroka's house to ridicule him.
Not
In order to ridicule him, he should be sure that he was impotent truly. She wanted to test whether the man was impotent. No, the man. He was a man, an African man. He was able to show him that he was not impotent, but of course. And as an African man, you have rights to inherit as many wives.
That is not the issue. My question there is that he refused to pay a bride price.
Didn't just taking many wives
Without paying
their bride price.
have to do what is
before
the actual marriage.
remember that this man, CD, was the one who went to her house.
But did you know? Wait.
Was also
Deception also. Excuse me. Deception also. Excuse me, Mr. Africa. Excuse me. You see, Baroka planned that. Do you understand? Baroka planned that through Sadiku.
No, but Sadiq was not aware of the actual thing.
Yes, Baroka did that in order to get it because he said he knows the type of wife, the first wife that he has. She cannot keep her mouth shut, which means this thing. Yes, I'm impotent. I cannot perform. Then saying it in the hearing of the first wife.
She went
knowing
out
full
to
well,
ridicule
excuse me, knowing full well that Sidi will get to hear it, and that is exactly what happened. Sadiku now used it, ridiculed even her husband. Then immediately Sidi got to know about it and said, "Oh wow, this is an opportunity for me to ridicule
She was
this
the
man."
one who went to the man's
So
house.
the man planned that before getting the girl. Do you understand it? He planned it.
The plan was done. But
Yes.
she was one, out of her own free will, went to him First of all, what was the intention?
What I'm saying
her
is,
intention was
he could
where
not.
they could.
Yes, but the intention of the man also is to bring this girl.
And you came to someone else's house, a man you know that has.
That is important. That is important.
Okay, that is by the way. We have seen. We can't say that modernism or westernization is totally bad. This is not. But also, I think this imagery of construction of road has paved way for immoral practices. And you see that our cultural inheritance, our tradition, are fast or gradually fading away, being destroyed. Even though we were warned by the author, it's good to improve on what we have. But I don't totally say that those who, just like I've seen when he was a time when people will stop eating with their hands to make use of computers. A time when, of course, the time is safe. We have vehicles all over. We have airlines, and we have planes and all that. As we have them, we have social media and all of them. As we have them, that is how also we have debates of immorality.
That's just what exactly what Baroka says. That's not that he hates all this, but let it not affect them negatively. So I think the summary of it, or the
man who
playwright
to work, fam, the man who said he's not going to work until he receives Western machine and all that in order to respect. I saw him. So he said that.
Yes, so I believe what the playwright is just trying to say is that no matter what you have gathered from this Western world, still know your roots. Your root is very, very important. But you now find out that it's like we've accepted all this their own way of life, and it's like destroying our own, taking it away entirely, because some people now don't even listen to their parents. Some people don't even call their parents what they're supposed to call them, maybe mommy or mama. Is that babe? How can you call your mom a babe? Or hi, that kind of a thing. The greetings. Nobody bends down again to greet, especially in this side of the country. So a lot of things are giving way for this civilization of a thing. So it's supposed not to be so. It's actually an expository for us to know, to understand what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do. And when you say you're maintaining your culture, you have inherited this, want to maintain it to the core, because Baroka broke it. And also Sidi that tried to maintain her virginity, and the air just sold it at the blood of gold. It's supposed not to be so. And in the life of Bakunle too, he just accepted the tradition, the civilization or the civilized way of life, and forgetting about his roots. Which means this man called Wole Soyinka actually knew what he did. He exposed a lot of things for us to understand. And for those people out there to understand too, that when you get God, you can never say that the food of another woman is better than your own mother's food, no matter what. So Africa we have to maintain what we have. And also to tell others that the civilized world, that we have our own culture and tradition to maintain, despite the construction of the road that we have allowed to come in.
Good. Just one or two words to end it. The session is over.
To summarize it, I would just say that in this work, that Wole Soyinka is just presenting to us the force of civilization. That civilization, to a great extent, is irresistible. But this work has to do what? Call our minds so that we should uphold the basic factors or the basic values that should still identify us as Africans, as people of one mind, people with dignity. We shouldn't just discard everything we have, because in what we have there is still value amidst them, and there are still many practices that need to be improved. That is why we cannot totally estimate civilization. I think this is important.
Yeah, thank you. I know you just implemented this for the West African Examination Council. I think we've given out things, information worth grabbing. Anyone preparing for this examination can as well listen to what we said today and then learn more. And we'll end the session for today on behalf of other members who are not here. We have here with me trustees, the executive members here, these people sitting down here, representing other members. So on behalf of other members, we'll say, have a nice week.
Bye-bye.